Hello and welcome to episode 9 of What If Civilization Started Over. And before we get into this episode, the map from last time did not save, so I went through and fixed it for the most part, but there might be a few differences from the end of last episode and the beginning of this one, so just thought I should let you know before we start. But anyways, we're going to start out over here where in this pink Iberian country, the king has recently died and his son has come into power, and his son wants to basically reunite all of the people. So by that I mean he wants to take these people down here. The people in the green team over here, if you don't remember, there was a country that was people from here that formed that this lime team invaded, so they want to take that back. Also, they want to take this country over here back. And because of that, this country here is going to be joining the Square Alliance, so let's grab this. I'm on the wrong layer. Let's grab this. And put one over here. And following that, soon after this country joins, but before it joins, something else happens, and that is actually that uh, these two countries actually meet up. So it's not supposed to be there. So the blue team expands into there, and then the purple team, purple, pink team expands into there, and now there are borders. So this one joins the Square Alliance because they don't want to get invaded. However, when these two join, they are told by the leader of the Lion team that the Square Alliance is planning something, and what that is we'll get back to later in the episode. For now, we're going to come over here to China and this Vietnamese country, where the Chinese country is actually going to invade this country. So troops from it go down, and they quickly go down into where Hong Kong is, which there is a major city there, so they take that. They then continue pushing in. They get pretty close to taking this city, but eventually the Vietnamese troops start to push them back a little bit. And while this is happening, there's going to be boats coming out, so they come out from over here and they going down. And obviously, like, guns and cannons don't exist yet, so they're like shooting each other with bows and like hopping in from like boat to boat. So this the Vietnamese country is going to surround this island that their capital is on to make sure it doesn't get taken, and they're also going to start pushing back against the Chinese Navy. So they start pushing back, as they also are pushing back on land. So like that. However, more of the Chinese troops are showing up now and are starting to push once again back in as they push through here. And they make it look like they're going to go for this city, but actually they're going for this city. So they kind of attack this and purposefully fail to cause distraction and take this city over here. While this is happening, their navy is pushing back in, so and these boats are going to start trying to start fleeing from over here as the navy takes them. However, they don't go the right way. They make a turn here and are confused because by now they should be hitting the island, so they don't know where to go, and then they get lost even more and they start going all over the place as they go down through here. And I will tell you where they end up later on after this war is over. We can get rid of that there. But the Chinese Navy is pushing even more. And they are even now threatening the capital island. So with this, the Vietnamese are going to take troops from over here to pull over to the capital. And with this, they're going to lose more land. So this land starts falling as the Chinese push through here. Eventually the Chinese manage to land on this island as they start pushing in. Eventually they get to the capital. And they go into the capital and they capture the king and force him to agree a peace. So with this, the Chinese are going to take, let me turn on the major city layer again. They're going to take all of this land here. So they're going to take a tiny bit more over here. But they let the Vietnamese keep this here, so this is still connected to over here. And their capital. Anyways, those Vietnamese boats that got lost, they sail through here. And they end up hitting right here. And they form a new country because they don't know where they're at, so they will form a new country. So they explore a lot of this land. And with this they're going to need a capital, so capital will be right there. Obviously, because that's where they landed. Actually, let's make it a bit closer to the ocean. So like right there. So it's on the coast. But following the success, the Chinese are going to start exploring further into this area. And then they're going to claim all that, so that's all theirs now. You know, up here in the last episode there was a plague, and following the and the plague is still pretty still pretty bad in some of these countries, like Korea. This country, this country, this country, and this country also have it pretty bad. There's still like a few cases showing up in these other countries, however they've been able to push it back. And Japan also got affected by it, not as much as these two, but there were some cases in it. Now though, however, they have they aren't really much cases anymore. But no one's really going to do anything because the plague is still somewhat bad. Anyways, back over here. The pink team is continuing to explore. As they explore a lot of this land. And also the Sri Lankan team is going to explore. Eventually all of this is explored by them. And the pink team is actually not going to take too much, they're just going to take like all of that. And then they're going to kind of take like that for now. Meanwhile, this country here is going to take all of this so they get big. Also, I can turn off that now. But the pink team is going to continue to explore this area as they explore out to over there. And they're getting pretty close to the these countries over here, so in a few videos you might see them hook up over there. Now we are going to come down here to South Africa, where what's that light there? What's the light there? I'll send those back on, because the first thing that's going to happen is over here there's going to be a breakaway. What color should I make it? That color, I guess. As this area breaks away from the green team, following them losing the war with this team last time. And they're also going to take some land right here that isn't hooked up to them at all. And then their capital is going to be in the one major city, that being this one right here. So that's their capital. And then over here there is going to be a war between these three, as this country sends troops into the orange one, but as that happens, the blue one is sending troops into here, and the orange one starts sending troops into the blue one, quickly hooking up with the exclave. They also will send troops out here towards where the capital is, and this is going to scare the blue one. The other one is going to start pushing back against the blue troops and start pushing into blue. However, they are going to lose a lot of the land in the orange one. Speaking of which, the orange one is right outside the capital now, as it shows to be one of the strongest countries over here. But the strongest country over here is this one right here, who is going to take advantage of this and go in and take the capital for themselves and take some more land. As the orange one pushes up through here, the blue one gets forced back, as the yellow one takes a lot of the rest, following which the rest of it will fall over to this one here. With this, they'll all take the land that they're currently occupying, so the orange one did lose a little bit of land, but they gain all that, so that's good for them. And this one here will take that there. So there. I don't even think that's exactly what the capital was. I think it was more up there. And then the last thing that's going to happen over here is, well, first of all, some more of this land is going to get explored. Following which, a new country will once again just pop up over here, being this red one here. So they'll pop up in this land here, with their capital being right there. So that's done down here for this episode. Next up, we're going to move over to the Dutch and the Welsh. Well, the Dutch are going to invade the Welsh. So they're going to send troops in over here. They start pushing in. However, something else is going to happen while this is going on, and that is that a country's going to make a landing over here, that being the Danish, who are going to make a landing over here and go through here and hook up with the Welsh over here. And they're not going to join the war, but they are going to start supplying the Welsh. This is going to make it a bit hard for the Dutch to push in. They will, however, push down here a little bit, and they'll start pushing towards the capital, but then with the resources arriving, the Welsh will push back. As they push the Dutch back to here, with this, the Dutch decide that they're going to go around, so they go up over here and start pushing in through here. Get close to taking the city, which, if they can do that, they can cut off the supply route. But the Welsh are going to manage to push them back over there. Start pushing them back through all of this land here. And after a little bit more fighting, eventually the Dutch are just going to take what they got and stop fighting. However, they will quickly push in and take all this land before anyone else can. And the Danish are now cutting off the Dutch from any more going north. Meanwhile, the Welsh are going to make a landing down here and take a lot of Cornwall, but the Dutch will also get a little bit, so yeah, that's the update on them. Going over here, this part of Ukraine is going to break away. So let me get a color for them. What color should I make them? This color here, how about that? So it's going to break away. And then they're going to expand it a tiny bit, but also I'm going to give them the capital, which is going to be in their one major city. Also, another thing that I did between episodes was I made this trade route here, so this is what the trade route looks like over here. There's no trade routes over here because, well, people over here are dying and no one wants to trade with them. And these two hate each other because they just were at war. They don't even know these people down here exist. So really the only two that are doing trade are these two here. So, the Japan and Northern Japan, I guess. Anyways, that's the trade route there. Anyways, this country here, Cyprus, led by Hunter the 4th or 5th now. All the kids have been named Hunter. Every leader has been named Hunter of this country here. They are exploring more. They will explore up through here. They'll start to claim a bit of this, claiming all of this along here. This country is also going to start claiming some land as they claim along here. And this country is going to claim all of the land here. In the Lad country, they are going to discover this island over here, and also this one here, and claim both of them. They'll also explore a bit more over here, but not that much because they're planning something. So after that, they'll claim all this land here. And they're also going to go up this way a bit. Why are they going up this way? Well, because things are not going to be going very well for this other shade of red country, this darker red country, as well. For this, actually, you can use the map. I can actually use the province map. It's because there are provinces over here. But anyways, the red country is going to invade them. So they're going to. Why does this always look so close to the other? Yeah, that's good. They're going to send in troops over here. And across all of the border. And it's not just them, they're going to have help from this country over here that they're somewhat allies with. Somewhat. They are allies with. They're not in like a formal alliance, but these two are just allies. But they're going to go along here, and that's not right there. The lead is going to start going up the trade out here, which is making a lot of countries, specifically, like this country here is kind of mad about that, because if they wanted to trade with anyone over here, they would have to go through there, because these two haven't built a trade up between each other yet. Which actually, this war is going to lead to them doing that. I'm not going to draw that in now, but just know that a trade out is being built between along here because of this war. But eventually, the lead will get up and capture the city here. This country will continue to invade as well as they push through all of this. And if things weren't bad enough for this country already, well, next up, this country gets involved. So they push in over here, go down like this, taking a lot of this land here. And things are looking even worse for this Iraq, Iran country, Iraq. I guess it's more Iran than Iraq by a lot. Anyways, the light are pushing up, they capture another major city. They then capture this major city. And next thing you know, Azerbaijan is getting involved. They're not going to take too much, they're just going to take a little bit over here. They take these 3 provinces and then they take this one over here before piecing out. And then after they piece out, they actually do give a bunch of supplies to this country that they just invaded, because they don't really like the Red country that much. With this, they're going to push in over here and take this back. I was going to push over here a bit and take some of this back, however, it doesn't really last that long for them, as the Red country is like either the first or second, probably second strongest country in the world at the moment. After this war, I will do it. Well, somewhere in this video, I'll do a list of the strongest countries, but the Red pushes back up into this and throughout here. Meanwhile, this country pushes back into the land. They just lost a little bit more, so. Eventually, the king of this country will sue for peace. So now I need to draw up a peace treaty, which there's actual provinces here, so I actually have to put effort into this. Okay, that's where it starts. So, I will be back with, after I drop the peace treaty. Okay, I'm back and I've drawn up the treaty, so in the treaty, the Red team is going to take all this land here. Their ally over here will take all of this land. This country here, the Caspian Sea one who wants to expand around all of the Caspian Sea, will get this land here. And then Azerbaijan will get this land here, the provinces that they invaded. So they actually signed a different treaty with this country than the one that between these 4 here. So yeah, because, and also the Red country is mad at them for supplying them after they stopped fighting. So that might come back to haunt them. We'll have to see later. Anyways, we're going to come back over here to Iberia now, where all of this land here is explored, and these 2 countries are going to race to get it, so this country will go up and take all this here, while the rest of this land will fall over to this country here. Anyways, we are then going to see the green team do a bit of expansion as they explore a lot of this land here. Expand into a lot of it, so they'll expand up here. So they expand into all of this land over here. I was going to do some expanding over here as they expand out over here like this. Eventually, they're even going to expand all the way over to the Atlantic Sea, so with that, they are looking big. And now the last thing that is going to happen in this, or actually the second to last thing, there's one more thing that needs to happen, but the last thing that's going to happen is a power ranking, so I'm just going to let me make a new layer for this actually. So anyways, the strongest country in the world is make this a bit small. Is this one over here, China. So they are number 1. The second strongest country in the world at this moment is the red team here. Third is the green team. Fourth is... Who is fourth? I thought this all out earlier, but... So I got a text. Anyways, fourth is... the Danish. Fifth is the Dutch. Sixth is the Lime team. Seventh is the Pink Iberian team. Eighth is Japan. Well, actually, I did that wrong. Eighth is the pink team. 9 is Japan. And 10 is the Azerbaijan. So that is the top 10 strongest countries. And anyways, I'm just going to delete this layer then because should I keep it? I'd have to update. You know, I want to keep this for this layer so we can update in the future. But anyways, the final event happening in this episode is, if you have noticed, other than 2 members joining, nothing has been happening. Well, actually, this country expanded a bit, but these 4 countries have been absolutely quiet this episode. They have not expanded at all, and that's because they have been building up. What have they been building up for? Well, they want to take down the red team because they have enslaved people from the yellow team. The purple team is slaves that escaped from the red team. And the lime team, these 3 countries over here, are helping out these 2 countries, and in return, these 2 help them out in any wars that they need. So the square lines, mostly the lime, purple, and yellow team have been building up, and we are going to see them. We're going to see the yellow team first push in over here and quickly take this because there wasn't much military there. And we also see the purple team over here, along with troops from the lime team and troops from this country, from all of the square lines, push in over here. With that, this episode is going to end. Now I'll see you in episode 10, where the biggest war in this series so far is going to happen. So, goodbye.